They were the absolute pride of Europe, a financial titan that processed billions of transactions, partnered with giants like Visa, and became worth more than Germany's oldest banks. Investors treated them like the undisputed kings of fintech. But deep inside their heavily guarded vaults, there was a secret so massive it would humiliate an entire nation. This is the story of Wirecard, a mind-bending tale of corporate espionage, Russian spies, and $2 billion in cash that simply vanished into thin air.
Wirecard didn't start as a traditional bank. They started in the murky waters of the early internet, processing payments for gambling and adult websites. But their CEO, Marcus Braun, had a much bigger vision. He rebranded them not as a bank, but as a Silicon Valley-style tech giant. He sold the world a story of flawless algorithms and the future of digital money. To justify their massive, skyrocketing valuation, Wirecard claimed to have a booming business in Asia. They reported hundreds of millions in profits coming from third-party partners in Dubai, Singapore, and the Philippines. It was a brilliant narrative. Wall Street and European investors bought the story completely, without ever sending anyone to check if those Asian offices actually existed. By 2018, the illusion was complete. Wirecard had become so powerful that they replaced Commerzbank, Germany's historic institution, in the prestigious DAX 30 index. They were untouchable. They were the pride of the German financial sector. And German regulators didn't just ignore the warning signs. They actively defended Wirecard against anyone who dared to question them. The illusion was perfect in Munich, but in London, Financial Times journalist Dan McCrum smelled blood. When he looked at Wirecard's balance sheets, the math simply didn't add up. Here was a company claiming profit margins that were practically impossible for a simple payment processor. But questioning Wirecard was dangerous. Whenever journalists or short sellers raised red flags, Wirecard didn't just deny the claims. They unleashed an army of aggressive lawyers, hired private detectives to stalk reporters, and used sophisticated hackers to spear-phish their critics. They built a fortress of intimidation to protect their golden lie. The Financial Times decided to call Wirecard's bluff. If Wirecard was making hundreds of millions from partners in Asia, those partners had to exist. Reporters were sent on the ground to Manila, Singapore, and Dubai to find these massive tech hubs. What they found was a joke. Instead of gleaming corporate skyscrapers, the registered addresses led them to a retired seaman's small family home in the Philippines and a rundown, dirty bus ticketing booth in Manila. The billions of dollars in Asian revenue were completely fabricated. They were phantom companies, moving ghost money to inflate the stock price. The final nail in the coffin came from inside the house. A brave whistleblower, risking everything, managed to download gigabytes of internal emails, secret spreadsheets, and forged contracts. This massive data leak was handed over to the press, proving beyond any doubt that executives in Munich knew the Asian business was a sham. But when the explosive article was finally published, the unthinkable happened. The German financial regulators didn't investigate Wirecard. Instead, protecting their national pride, they launched a criminal investigation into the journalists, accusing them of market manipulation. The state itself was protecting the cartel. The pressure became unbearable. Under intense scrutiny from short sellers and the press, Wirecard was forced to hire an independent auditor, KPMG, to finally prove the Asian profits were real. They were supposed to find 1.9 billion euros sitting safely in 2 Philippine banks. But when the auditors knocked on the doors of those banks in Manila, the answer they received sent shockwaves through the global financial system. The banks declared they had never done business with Wirecard. The documents were forged. The 1.9 billion euros didn't exist. It was a complete phantom. The moment the truth broke, it was a bloodbath on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Wirecard's stock plummeted by 90% in a matter of hours, wiping out billions in retail investor savings. The so-called German tech miracle filed for insolvency, becoming the first DAX-listed company to go bust. Markus Braun, the visionary CEO who promised the future of digital money, was arrested by Munich prosecutors in his signature black turtleneck. The untouchable titan of European fintech was led away in handcuffs, his golden empire reduced to ashes. Markus Braun took the fall, but the real mastermind was already gone. Jan Marsalek, the shadowy chief operating officer with deep, mysterious ties to Russian intelligence, knew the collapse was coming. While the police were raiding the Munich headquarters, Marsalek calmly ordered a private jet, paid in cash, and vanished into thin air. He fled to Belarus, carrying heavily encrypted crypto wallets and state secrets. The money was gone. The mastermind became a ghost, and the Wirecard ledger was finally closed in pure, empty darkness. Wirecard taught the market the oldest rule in the book. If a company's growth looks like a straight line going up, completely immune to market gravity and economic crashes, it's usually a lie. Real businesses have bad quarters. Real tech has bugs. Wirecard's flawless balance sheet wasn't a masterpiece of German engineering. It was a masterpiece of fiction. Investors were blinded by FOMO, the fear of missing out on Europe's only tech giant. They wanted to believe the fairy tale so badly, they ignored the monsters in the dark. The second lesson is written in the lost savings of everyday people. Never trust authority blindly. The prestigious auditors, the government regulators, the financial analysts, everyone assumed someone else had checked the vault. When the world's top auditors sign off on $1 billion phantom account without making a single phone call to a branch in Manila, the system itself is broken. Due diligence doesn't mean reading a stamped paper. It means opening the box yourself and looking inside. In the end, the Wirecard collapse is a warning printed in neon. The stock market is not a meritocracy. Sometimes, it's a casino where the house can forge the chips. When the music finally stops, the architects of the fraud vanish on private jets with encrypted wallets, while everyday people lose their pensions. The ledger always balances eventually, but usually, it's the innocent who pay the ultimate debt. Keep your eyes open. See you in the next issue.